Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 3 of April 2026. Donald Trump warned that the United States could impose a 50% tariff on China if it provides military assistance to Iran, framing the move as part of a broader effort to deter external support for Tehran amid rising regional tensions. He said such measures would be aimed at increasing economic pressure on countries that he believes contribute to escalating the conflict. The National Company Law Appellate Tribunal has ruled that home buyers' insolvency cases against real estate firms must focus only on the project with the default. This decision prevents unrelated projects from being affected. The tribunal emphasized that this approach protects the interests of home buyers and stakeholders in other developments. Credit Access Grameen, a leading NBFC MFI, is shifting focus from microfinance to secured lending like home loans. The company aims to become a Rs 50,000 crore entity by 2028 with a significant portion from retail finance. It is actively exploring acquisitions to accelerate growth in its secured business segment. American pension fund Washington State Investment Board or WSIB has invested Rs 230 crore in Havelia's group's revival of a stalled project in Greater Noida. This marks WSIB's first investment in a stalled project. The project will deliver over 2,000 homes. The investment is expected to revive the decade-old legacy project. The Uttar Pradesh government has facilitated the project's completion. With a Rs 22,000 crore combined investment across solar generation, battery storage and pumped hydro projects, Avada Group is scaling up capacity as India's renewable penetration deepens and grid balancing requirements intensify. The investment combines Rs 7,500 crore earmarked for pumped storage projects alongside capital deployment in a 2,500 megawatt battery energy storage system under development in Rajasthan and nearly 1,000 megawatt of solar projects slated for commissioning by March. The Securities and Exchange Board of India or SEBI has introduced a mechanism for lock-in of pledged shares under the ICDR regulations aimed at easing compliance for issuers. The initiative seeks to facilitate compliance with lock-in requirements, address practical challenges in handling pledged shares during public issues, ensure regulatory clarity and operation ease. In March, India's retail inflation ticked up to 3.4%, influenced by escalating tensions in the Middle East that are affecting global oil supplies. However, this increase remains comfortably within the target range set by the Reserve Bank of India. While the RBI is aware of external threats, it underscores the resilience of India's economy. Britain's competition regulator will soon investigate the massive $110 billion deal between Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery. This move comes as the film and TV industries are vital to the economy. Over 1,000 industry professionals have voiced opposition, fearing harm to Hollywood. The regulator is gathering views before a formal launch. India now holds over 200 million tons of coal, enough for 90 days, a significant increase from previous stock levels. The nation achieved 1 billion ton coal production for the second consecutive year. The government is actively working to reduce import dependence and boost self-reliance in the mineral sector. Reforms and auctions are driving progress in this vital area. Indian businesses are aggressively expanding globally. Nearly all plan to boost cross-border trade and investment in the next 5 years. They are also increasing capital deployment internationally. Firms are adapting to economic instability by adjusting strategies and taking calculated risks. High-growth markets are a key focus, with technology like AI-driven expansion. Digital finance is also gaining importance. The United States military will blockade ships leaving Iran's ports starting Monday. Iran has threatened retaliation against Gulf neighbors. Oil prices have jumped significantly as the Strait of Hormuz remains closed. Talks to end the conflict have broken down. NATO allies refuse to join the blockade. US President Trump warns high gas prices may persist. The Reserve Bank of India has returned Ujjivan Small Finance Bank's application for voluntary transition into a universal bank, saying that the bank needs to diversify its portfolio. The central bank has also advised Ujjivan to consider applying again after demonstrating a diversified asset pool. Air India reported a wider than expected annual loss of over 220 billion rupees or $2.4 billion for financial year 26. Driven by multiple disruptions including a fatal air crash, airspace restrictions and geopolitical tensions. The airline is now seeking fresh funding from its shareholders, including Tata Group and Singapore Airlines, though the final amount is still under discussion. Gold loans in India have surged fourfold since March 2022, becoming the second largest retail credit segment. Southern states led by Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka continue to dominate originations, accounting for over half the market. While the south remains the core, emerging regions like Uttar Pradesh are showing significant growth from a lower base. Samman Capital sold a Rs 5,000 crore stressed loan portfolio to Arcel at about a 52% discount, valuing it near Rs 2,400 crore in one of the largest such deals of the year. The portfolio includes real estate and mortgage-linked loans that are delayed but not yet classified as NPAs. Japan is launching a significant financial initiative. A $10 billion framework will assist Asian nations in secure vital energy resources. The move aims to counter the impact of the Middle East conflict on global oil supplies. The support will bolster supply chains, particularly for Southeast Asian countries. Starting from the assessment year 2026-27, a new mandate will compel taxpayers utilizing the presumptive taxation system to reveal their bank balances and investments. This initiative by the Income Tax Department aims to curtail potential abuses of the scheme by allowing authorities to verify reported income against financial assets. Global layoffs are intensifying across large tech firms and global capability centers in India as companies like Oracle, Cisco, Amazon and Meta trim headcounts amid AI-driven strategies. Having moved from offshore support to core global roles, Indian workers are now more exposed to strategic restructuring and AI-led workforce changes. As per the EPFO circular issued on April 13, 2026, with the phasing out of the old Income Tax Act 1961 and the commencement of the Income Tax Act 2025, effective from April 1, 2026, significant changes have been introduced regarding the declaration of income without deduction of tax. Under the new regulatory framework, the erstwhile Form 15G and Form 15H have been replaced by a single consolidated written declaration in Form 121. India's electronics exports to China are experiencing a significant surge. Apple's component manufacturing scheme is driving this growth. Indian vendors are now exporting parts to China, a reversal of past trends. This development is expected to boost India's overall exports to China substantially. The success highlights the impact of government initiatives on the electronics sector. Fintech startups are leveraging AI to help borrowers improve their creditworthiness and reduce loan application rejections. Companies like BankSathi, GoodScore, and CreditGenix are offering AI-led advisory services, addressing a significant demand, especially from smaller cities. While AI automates much of the process, manual intervention remains crucial for resolving defaults with lenders. India has set a new export record, reaching $860 billion in shipments for the fiscal year 2025-26. This achievement surpasses the previous year's $825 billion. The nation's exports demonstrate resilience against global challenges. 9 new trade agreements are expected to boost this growth further, opening new markets and opportunities across various sectors. The Reserve Bank of India has eased rules for non-banking financial companies. NBFCs can now open branches without prior approval in most situations. This change aims to simplify business operations. Deposit-taking NBFCs have specific conditions based on their net owned funds and credit ratings for opening branches or appointing agents. India's economy shines brightly amidst global uncertainty. Growth is projected to be more than double the world's average. This strong performance is driven by stable economic conditions and consistent domestic demand. The International Monetary Fund's Managing Director, Kristalina Georgieva, highlighted these robust fundamentals. There are no signs of a significant slowdown in India's growth plan. Mahindra & Mahindra is reportedly in advanced talks to upgrade its South African plant, potentially introducing completely knocked down production or CKD production. This move aims to capitalize on rising demand for affordable vehicles and sidestep potential import tariffs, enhancing local manufacturing capabilities and competition in the South African market. Muthoot Finance has sought shareholder approval to enter life, general and health insurance distribution as an IRDAI regulated corporate agent. The move aims to create cross-selling opportunities across its existing gold loan and lending customer base. Muthoot's consolidated loan AUM stood at Rs 1,64,720 crore, growing 48% year-on-year as of December 2025. Indian banks have halted gold and silver import orders as a fresh government authorization under DGFT is still pending, leaving tons of bullion stuck at customs. India, a top global consumer, risks supply shortages and rising premiums if delays continue. Indian banks are now requiring corporates to provide documentation for dollar-forward transactions. This move follows recent currency volatility and new regulations. Banks are scrutinizing clients and setting limits based on past performance. The Reserve Bank of India has not mandated this, but banks are taking precautions to avoid FEMA violations amid a dollar crunch. India's pharma exports saw a sharp 23.17% fall in March. The West Asia war disrupted shipping routes and air transit hubs. This led to increased freight costs and potential losses of Rs 2,500 to Rs 5,000 crore. Despite strong growth earlier in financial year 26, the conflict impacted crucial transit points like Dubai and Abu Dhabi. This affected the flow of vital medicines to global markets. The University of Liverpool and the Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, have announced a joint seed fund for early-stage collaborative research in areas such as AI, health and space. It is a small but telling sign of how UK-India academic ties are moving from broad intent to targeted research support, with money now being set aside to help ideas off the ground in artificial intelligence, biomedicine, life sciences, One Health, quantum technology and space. The two institutions said they will co-invest annually for an initial 3 years. Private equity investors in India are increasingly favoring buyouts as they seek greater control and operational influence, driving a sharp rise in both deal value and volume. According to a recent EY report, average annual buyout investments rose 52% to $14.2 billion during 2021 to 2025, compared with $9.3 billion in 2016 to 2020. The average number of transactions also increased 30% to 56 deals from 43 over the same period. The shift reflects a maturing market where a growing pool of cash-generative businesses is becoming available for full or majority stake sales. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, or SEBI, has specified the mandatory certification requirement for social impact assessors or SIAs under Regulation 292A Clause F of the SEBI ICDR Regulations 2018. A social impact assessor must qualify a certification program conducted by the National Institute of Securities Markets, or NISM. The assessor must hold a valid certification at all times. SIAs are required to obtain NISM Series 23 Social Impact Assessor Certification Examination. This ensures that assessors possess the necessary expertise and regulatory understanding. Karnataka is actively seeking global partnerships across trade, innovation and collaboration. The state aims to strengthen ties with over 80 countries. Bengaluru is highlighted as a hub for talent and investment. The Global Innovation Alliance is evolving for outcome-driven collaborations. The Bengaluru Tech Summit 2026 will focus on AI and beyond, fostering deeper co-creation and long-term global partnerships. The government is considering a significant increase in the Provident Fund wage ceiling. Current limits may rise to Rs 25,000 or Rs 30,000 monthly from Rs 15,000. This move aims to prevent workers from being excluded from Social Security due to rising wages. Discussions are underway with stakeholders to finalize the new ceiling. The Employee State Insurance Corporation ceiling is also being reviewed. Ravi Jaipuria's Varun Beverages Limited has become a global powerhouse. Starting with one PepsiCo plant in 1987, Varun Beverages Limited is now the second largest bottling business for PepsiCo worldwide outside the US. Its market value has surged significantly. The company holds extensive franchisee rights across India and several international markets. This growth reflects a vision for expansion and strong execution. Meta is planning to kick off its first round of massive layoffs this year on May 20th. Three sources familiar with the sweeping changes told Reuters. This comes after last month's report that the tech giant had chalked up plans to cut down 20% or more of its global workforce. The initial round of the intended Meta layoffs is reportedly expected to hit about 10% of the company's global workforce, accounting for approximately 8,000 employees. Another round of layoffs is supposedly slated for the second half of 2026, the report added. The Adani Group will invest around Rs 1 trillion in the Motilal Nagar redevelopment project in Mumbai's Goregaon West, where it is expected to get a free sale component of about 1.7 million square meters. A free sale component is the portion of a project that the developer can sell in the open market at prevailing rates. Estate View Developers Private Limited, an Adani Group entity, will execute the project. Of the total investment, around Rs 36,000 crore is expected to be spent on the rehabilitation component of about 1.05 million square meters. This will be handed over to the Maharashtra Housing and Area Development Authority or MADA, the state agency for affordable housing. Avada Electro, the solar manufacturing arm of the Brookfield-backed Avada Group, has secured approval from SEBI to raise an estimated Rs 9,000 to 10,000 crore through an initial public offering, an update with the regulator showed on Friday. Besides Avada Electro, textile firm Sona Selection India and Chennai-based Grand Housing have also received SEBI's approval to float their maiden public issues. This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.